Hello, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news, and it is also a little bit early because we're reacting to the Premier League fixtures which are about to be released in the next 60 seconds. But we've also got significant Manchester United transfer news coming for you this morning. Joel Glazer, one of the Glazers running Manchester United, reportedly halting the Jadon Sancho deal and standing firm on the fact that we won't pay what Dortmund want and they won't pay the significant salary and commission involved in the Sancho deal. We'll be talking about that. There's also talk about what this £150 million credit that United took a few months is about, and it's nothing to do with transfers. The truth behind the Brooks deal. This is all coming from The Athletic. Also, interest in Upamecano, Alexandro, and Gabriel to Arsenal as well. So lots to talk about there. But we are live also for the latest around the Premier League fixtures, which should be coming out any time in the next few seconds. Fixture list incoming, says Darren Boonen. But a very, very significant story coming out from The Athletic and Laurie Whitwell around Jadon Sancho and the Glazers forcing another manager to do the job do a difficult job at Manchester United by not backing the manager. It's very frustrating. Joel Glazer standing firm on the Sancho deal. And yet again, somebody else standing firm who's got no idea what football is. They wouldn't know what a football was if it smacked them in their face off a David Beckham free kick. But that is the story coming from The Athletic, and it will do nothing to halt this Glazers out thing that seems to happen every summer. I don't know about that, but I do know that Manchester United versus Arsenal is on Saturday the 31st of October. So let's have a look at this. Fixtures coming out now. Manchester United will play Crystal Palace at home on the 19th of September, which is our first fixture. So that's good. I'm happy with that. There was this rumour that we were going to get Arsenal. I'm happy with that. We'll play City on the 12th of December. We'll play Leeds on the 19th of December. And we play Liverpool at home on the 1st of May. They're our home fixtures. We're playing Arsenal at home on Halloween, Saturday the 31st of October. So the first fixture for Manchester United will be Crystal Palace at home. That's our first fixture for Manchester United. Let me have a quick look at what other fixtures. Liverpool will play Leeds on the first game of the season, which is interesting there as well. And opening weekend is Crystal Palace, Southampton, Liverpool, Leeds, Fulham, Arsenal. Man City are playing Villa and Sheffield United. I don't know why Man City are playing on the opening game of the season, because they played in a semi-final the day before us. That's a little bit weird, but let me just go to the website and let's have a look at this. Get proper reaction to this. No, Man City are not playing because they've got. But we would have been. So here we go. I've got it for you now. So Manchester United would have been playing Burnley opening game of the season away from home. Bloody Burnley. So I'm glad that's been postponed because we've dodged a bullet there. Man City would have been playing Villa, but that's been postponed because both Man United and City played in the latter stages of the Europa League. So Fulham opening fixtures are Palace, Southampton, Fulham, Arsenal, Liverpool, Leeds, Spurs, Everton, West Brom, Leicester, West Ham, Newcastle, and then on the Sunday you've got Brighton, Chelsea, Sheffield United, Wolves. Manchester United's first game will be Crystal Palace on the 19th of September if it doesn't get moved. So our first game of the season will be a home game. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty happy now that we are having the week off, because Burnley away, first game of the season, would have been a banana skin. So we will be a one game behind because everyone else is going to play before us because of that Europa League semi-final knocking out, giving us an extra week off. But our first game of the season will be Crystal Palace at home. Then the next game after that we play Brighton away, and then we play Spurs at home. So it's not an easy start to the season. Crystal Palace at home, Brighton away, and then Spurs at home. But the next game after that is Newcastle away, and then we play Chelsea, and then I think we're playing. I'm pretty sure somebody said Arsenal. So we've got Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs in our first 6 games, which is, go and get Jadon Sancho. Go and get Jadon Sancho. Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs in our first 6 games, and Everton away as well. I tell you what, it's not a good start for Manchester United. That Crystal Palace at home, Brighton away, and then Spurs at home is our opening 3 games. But we've got a significant start to the season there. Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs and Everton in our first 7 games, and Everton are away. So it's, United have not got the start to the season that maybe they've had in previous years, where we go, we need to win all those games, let's go and win all those games. We're going to have a very good start to the season. So, confirmation, Crystal Palace will be our first game of the season, not on the opening weekend because we played in the Europa League. We'll have Crystal Palace at home, Brighton away, Spurs at home, then I think it's Newcastle away, Chelsea at home, Arsenal away, Everton away. So we've got Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs and Everton in our first 7 games. Talks of Aaron Ramsey leaving on a free. Would you take him at United? Says Ollie Jenks. No. Can't wait to see us up against Leeds again, says Josh Sutton. And I've done that one. I don't understand how the Glazers will spend money on a very old quarterback for the football team, but won't spend money on a young superstar for Man United. Makes them more money than their football team, says Ivan Berren. Glazers tried to halt Bruno deal and he still signed. It says that he's only an obstacle, meaning everything else is behind it. He will cave eventually, says Aditya. So there is Burnley. Burnley would have been the first game of the season. It's cancelled. Arsenal at home is not the first game. There is a lot of idiots in the live comments saying Burnley first game of the season, and you've got no concept of how to use your ears. Burnley against United is postponed. We're not playing on the opening game of the season. It would have been Burnley. It's postponed. We're not playing on the opening game of the season. Listen to your ears. Manchester United are not playing Burnley away on the opening game of the season. It's postponed. We were in the Europa League latter stages. Our game against Burnley is postponed, and Man City's game against Villa is postponed. We open up a week later because we got to the latter stages of the Europa League. We will play on the 19th of September against Crystal Palace at home. Get it in your heads. People talking Burnley. Come on, let's get with it. Anyway, look, it's Crystal Palace first game of the season. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's get into the Manchester United news, because ultimately the Premier League fixtures are interesting for about 2 minutes, and then we get into what the headline is, which is the Glazers halting the Jadon Sancho deal. We've also got to talk to you about Grealish, Upamecano, Gabriel to Arsenal, and Sandro, and a lot more as well. So The Athletic, through Laurie Whitwell, have put an article out this morning saying that Joel Glazer is halting up. He's standing firm, and they're not happy about a significant salary and commission and fee that Dortmund want for Jadon Sancho, and it is Joel Glazer, one of the Glazers, holding this up. What a surprise. Always comes down to money. We're a business, not a football club, and yet again we are being held up by these people who are not Manchester United fans, who are money fans, who bought us on debt, and every element of what Manchester United Football Club do comes down to money. They don't look at this from a business... They do look at it from a business point of view. They don't look at it from a football point of view. And this is not a video where I'm going, Glazers out, get the green and gold on, let's go on a march. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what I've said from day one of the United stand. I'm saying what I've said from day one of the Glazers taking over Manchester United. It was a terrible, terrible thing for Manchester United Football Club. They bought a club that was... and is a very lucrative business, but they were allowed to buy it on debt. And they are not Manchester United fans, and they are business people, and they want your money. They want the profit into this club. The 150 million credit that we took out back in, I think, April, that people said was for transfers. In The Athletic, they're saying it's not for transfers, it's to offset match day losses. Manchester United lose between £4 and £6 million every match day. This £150 million credit, loan, whatever you want to call it, is there to cover the cost of losing money that they're losing. And what a surprise, we're taking a loan out to cover the cost of the money that we're losing, i.e. the Glazers. So, look, I think there's still a lot of confidence from me that we will get the Sancho deal done. They have to do the Sancho deal. If this was Perisic, where there wasn't loads of interest in the fan base and it was a manager player that they wanted, I think United would walk away. Because it's Jadon Sancho, because of the demand for him, because it's everyone knows we're in for him, the Glazers have got to offset this with the fact that they're going to look like a massive bunch of prats again if they don't get the deal done. So I think they will get it done, but the standing firm, the holding up of the deal, that big question mark about why it's being held up, well, there you go. The Athletic are saying, and if you believe The Athletic and Laurie Whitwell, they're saying that Joel Glazer is the one that is standing firm. Joel Glazer has got involved in the negotiations. I mean, bloody hell. This is Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and our owner is getting involved in negotiations for a I nearly swore, a footballer. I mean, who does that? This is why you need a director of football. Look at what Arsenal have done. Edu is their director of football. He's an ex-player of Arsenal, but he actually went off and did, learn how to be a director of football. Probably a little bit like Van der Sar is doing at Ajax. He is now director of football at Arsenal. They have got Gabriel from Lille. Gabriel was deciding between Napoli and Arsenal. It looked like he was going to go to Napoli. He's going to go to Arsenal. United had an interest, but the reality is our interest was just talks. We're too slow. If we are interested and we did want him, then it's too late. He's going to go to Arsenal. Duncan Castle's saying that he's having a medical with Arsenal today. Romano's not spoken on it yet, so I wouldn't be 100% that that's going to happen, but it's looking like he's going to go to Arsenal. Arsenal have got a very, very good director of football in Edu, and they've got a process. They finished 8th. Okay, they won the FA Cup. They're back in the Europa League again, but they finished 8th. They've got Willian, whatever, but Gabriel is a player that maybe United want. And the interesting thing about Arsenal is, look, I think we're way better than Arsenal. That's been proven very recently. But what you can't deny about Arsenal is they've got a director of football. We haven't. They've got a good director of football. We haven't even got a director of football. They've got a left-sided centre-back bought in this transfer window. We haven't. We need one. We haven't bought anyone yet. So, look, we can talk about third as much as you like. The reality is the football season's not on at the moment. This is about building your team for next year, and at the moment we're sat on our arse doing nothing with one of our owners standing firm on our most significant deal that we need to get done. Every day we don't get this Jadon Sancho deal done is another day that leaves us with less time to buy other players. And what a surprise. I think that's probably the strategy. They're probably sat there going, well, we'll push this Sancho deal out as long as possible, but I'm telling you now, we're not buying anybody else. And Ollie's there going, well, I need Sancho, I need a left-sided centre-back, and I need midfielder. Well, you're not having anybody else. We're not spending money on a football player. Who do you think we are, a football club? Yes, you are meant to be a bloody football club, not a bank. Mark, would you sell Henderson to generate more transfer funds, Luke D, to improve the squad? Well, I think the problem with I probably would sell Henderson, but the problem is if you are selling players, how much of that money goes, if United... I don't know whether if you've ever played FIFA, but when you play career mode, if you sell a player for 15 million, you'll get an email saying, well done, you've sold a player for 15 million, we're allocating you 9 million. You don't always get the 15 million. And if United did sell Dean Henderson for 40 million, you'd probably get Joel Glazer saying, well, you know what, we've got dividends to pay. We'll give you 5 million out of the 40, 35 million's going in our pockets. Ivan Berin, latest member of the United Stand Members Club, and James Rogers, thanks for joining the Members Club. You can do that by clicking the join button. You get a badge next to your name. Thanks for supporting the channel. So yes, it is somewhat a frustrating point with Manchester United at the moment. We've reacted to the Premier League fixtures, by the way. We don't play on the first weekend. We're playing on the second weekend because we got to the latter stages of the Europa League. So we would have been playing Burnley, opening game of the season, away. That's been postponed because we're not playing on the 12th. We're playing on the 19th as our first game, which is Crystal Palace at home, which is exactly what, we would want, to be honest with you. We want to be at home, and we want to be playing a team that's... Look, I'm not saying we're going to beat Crystal Palace, but I think Crystal Palace have lost every game in their last however many. So there's a good chance that we can win that game. So it's a good opening game. How many 100 million transfers have been successes? Stop obsessing over these huge transfers deal. They all fail, including Pogba, says Modigal. One of the most idiotic morning comments we've ever had. Don't know where you're coming from. We bought Pogba for £89 million. Absolutely no context to what you're talking about there. Don't know what you're talking about there. Maybe it's Joel Glazer under a different name. Modern Girl is Joel Glazer. We lost to Palace at home last season, says Daniel Clout. Yes, we did. They've lost their last 7, though, says Shurker. So our first 3 games are Crystal Palace at home, Brighton away, and then Spurs at home. And then we've also got Chelsea, Arsenal and Everton in our first 7 games. So United have got a really tough start to the season. And this is why we need to do some transfer business, because the reality is the transfer window doesn't close until October, but we've got games we need to win before then. This is why we need these players in. This is why we spoke about a couple of days ago about the urgency of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needing these players. They need to be happening yesterday, not tomorrow. We've got a tough start to the season. We need to start the season well. And I said this before, look at that first 7 games of the season. You're going to have to play Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal and Everton away. Now, if you have dropped 10 points in your first 7 games, forget about it. You're fighting for 4th, and it's not even, they've not even got the Christmas lights up in John Lewis. So Manchester United have got to start this season well, and to do that you've got to go into the season with momentum and confidence. And the reality is we've bought no players in. We bottled the Europa League semi-final. Do you think the players are in a positive frame of mind at the moment? They need a kick up the arse. We need investment in that squad, and we need it fast. Sancho would make money back on the transfer, wouldn't he? Says Van Baren, from New Jersey sales and marketing opportunities. Yeah, I mean, all that will follow in. So look, I know there's a lot going on this morning. We're an hour earlier than normal because of the Premier League fixtures. As I said, Crystal Palace is our first game, the second week of the Premier League, because we don't play on the opening weekend because we got to the last stages of the Europa League. So Crystal Palace first game of the season for us. That's been confirmed. But more significant, really, The Athletic have put an article out this morning through Laurie Whitwell, who's their Manchester correspondent, Man United correspondent. He says that Joel Glazer, who's obviously one of the Glazers who own the club, is standing firm on the Sancho deal because of significant outlay around salary, commission and fee. And he's got himself involved in the negotiations. One of our owners is sticking his nose in football transfers. This is the grip these people have on this football club, and they don't even support it. Well, they probably do support it now. They probably have got a bloody... Wouldn't you have a Manchester United kit if you bought those on debt and made yourself multi-millionaires? But no, they shouldn't have anything to do with it. Yet again, business people sticking their nose in footballing matters. The £150 million credit facility that we got in April that some people thought was for transfers is apparently to cover match day losses from not having fans in the ground. What a surprise. It's just money in the pocket of the Glazers again. Also in the same article from The Athletic, they spoke about David Brooks. Now, this was a player yesterday that was being heavily linked to Manchester United. Apparently, this is an alternative to Jack Grealish. Now, that will make some people feel a bit better, because the talk yesterday that he was a Jadon Sancho alternative. The Athletic are saying that it's an alternative to Jack Grealish. I would still say the same. David Brooks is not anywhere near fit to lace the boots of Jack Grealish. So, all right, what's this? Is this diluting the fan base a bit? Because yesterday there was a lot of frustration that, David Brooks would be an alternative to Jadon Sancho. Today are we meant to go, oh, it's not for Jadon Sancho, it's for Jack Grealish. I mean, look, the two centre attacking midfielders we could get are Jack Grealish and Donny van der Beek. And now we're going for David Brooks, who will cost about 30-40 million quid anyway. I mean, there's if we spend 40 million on David Brooks, you can get Partey for 3 million more. Like, you could probably get really... I mean, Tonali's going to go from Brescia to Inter Milan for about 30 million quid. And we want to sign David Brooks from Bournemouth for 40 million quid. I mean, Brexit FC, get your British passport out. I mean, what? I'm sorry. Whether he's a Sancho alternative or a Jack Grealish alternative, he ain't nowhere near the ability of Grealish and Sancho. So what are we trying to do? No, for me, it's still a massive no on that player. I do not get it. The risk is huge. The risk is absolutely huge. He's had a major injury. He's shown absolutely nothing that he should be anywhere near a top 6 squad. And again, it's a bench player. Who, put your hand up if you watched Bayern Munich last night. They brought Coutinho off the bench, Kingsley Coman off the bench, Sule off the bench. Who else came off the bench? There was like every player basically that Bayern Munich was bringing off the bench would go into our first team. And yet Manchester United, some Man United fans are saying, well, yeah, let's get David Brooks. He's a good bench player. You don't buy bench players when you want to be the best. You buy first team players. Look at the bench of PSG. Look at the bench of Bayern Munich. What's the difference between United and PSG? What's the difference between United and Bayern Munich? There shouldn't be any. We are the Bayern Munich of England. We are the PSG of England. We are the biggest club in England. The only thing that makes us any different, and it's starting to infect our fan base, is you've let the owners lower your expectations. I heard people yesterday, oh yeah, well, we can't compete with Bayern Munich and PSG. Why? Why? Only because you've been brainwashed that we can't compete with PSG and Bayern Munich. Man United should have a bench like Bayern Munich and PSG. We don't have one because everybody's allowed this ownership to infect your brain that, well, yeah, we can't afford it. We can't afford to have a bench like that. Of course we can afford to have a bench like that. But the reality is our owners don't want to spend money to have a bench like that. They want success on the cheap, which in the modern day is never going to happen. So That's why United shouldn't be buying David Brooks, is because we should be buying players that other teams go, well, they walk into our first team. Look at our bench. That's the line for me. If you want to be a really good team, you need a bench where most of your bench walks into most of the teams in your league. Does Jesse Lingard, Andreas Pereira, Odion Ighalo, Juan Mata, Scott McTominay walk into every first team in the Premier League? I don't think they walk into half of them. I don't think teams like Leicester, Wolves would have a lot of those players in their first team, forgetting the top 6. So we need to buy top talent. News outlet here in America said the Glazers used Manchester United revenue money to sign Rob Gwansky and Tom Brady contracts this summer. What do you think about that, Marks as Anonymous? Well, if that is going on, I've always said within the Manchester United fan base, there are really, really passionate fans, whether it's Must or whether it's the Red Army or whether it's Red Cafe. There's loads and loads of really long fanzines as well, long established, credible fan groups around Manchester United Football Club. The issue is they're all so interested in fighting amongst each other and who's the best. Nobody ever has a coefficient joined up solution. And if that is true, and if the Glazers have used money from Manchester United to buy players for their American football team, that is bigger than any Glazer holding up a Sancho deal. That is a disgrace, because that is money going out of this football club to them. But at the bottom line is, whether that's money going to their American football team or not, the bottom line is a lot of money goes out of Manchester United Football Club to those owners. That's the bottom line. Chelsea, the board really need to spend smart and clever, as Ollie said. I can't understand why we as fans can be happy with Brooks instead of Sancho. We have to stop buying these players value for money. And Phil McCracken, young Australian debuting for Luton on the season start, held in similar regard to Jude Bellingham. We should sign him, says Josh Sutton. I think we all know that's a little bit of a joke there. I still think we're going to sign Jadon Sancho, though. I've got to be honest with you. I still think that will happen. But I just think we're taking too long. Pratik says Premier League fixtures are out. Where have you been, Pratik? We've been speaking about it for the last 15-20 minutes. We will play Crystal Palace, our opening game of the season. We will play Brighton away. Then we'll play Spurs at home. Then I think we play Newcastle away, Chelsea at home, Arsenal away and Everton away. We've got a tough start to the season. Opening day is a winnable game. But we've got Chelsea, Arsenal, Everton and Spurs in our opening 7 games of the Premier League. It's going to be a very, very tough start to the season. The Athletic also mentioned a very interesting thing here. Dayu Upamecano, Manchester United will continue to scout Dayu Upamecano. This is madness. This is coming out of The Athletic. It's not madness from The Athletic, but this is madness that this is a story. Manchester United will continue to scout Dayu Upamecano. He's not playing for another bloody month. His season's over. What we're going to scout him on the beach? Like, the transfer window's open. You can't continue to scout a player in the bloody transfer market. This is why we need a director of football. Every United fan has known for a long time the positions we need. What are we scouting players for in the bloody summer? And also, Dayu Upamecano is a very good centre-back. He's right-footed. We need a left-footed centre-back yesterday. What are we scouting a bloody right-footed centre-back for? And why are we scouting him in the summer? He doesn't play any more games. So, Upamecano does have a 50 million release clause. For me, United should be all over that. 50 million is about 44 million pounds. United should be all over that. But again, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for me. It's just a story to make United fans happy. Oh, we're after Upamecano because we've missed out on Gabriel. Gabriel's left-footed. Upamecano's not. Gabriel's signing for Arsenal. He's not signing for Manchester United. Upamecano's too expensive. We won't sign him. We're not going to get him. He's right-footed. It's just another story to make us feel optimistic about the fact that we have messed up or are messing up another transfer window. It's confused and it is. We should be doing the advert for confused.com because I don't think United have got a bloody clue what they're doing again. They've walked into a deal with Jadon Sancho and they're bartering and they're standing firm. Like I've said this so many times. If I walk into a deal with Jadon Sancho, I know I'm going to have to pay 120 million euros. I 100% know. Because I know Dortmund have got him on a 3-year contract and I know Dortmund will stand firm on their price. So negotiating with them is ridiculous. It's like screwing for virginity. It's already gone. You can't get it back. So we're wasting time on that. We're linked to Upamecano. Why? Why are we not buying Upamecano if he's not... And also, we haven't got the money. I mean, how are we going to spend the money on Sancho, 50 million on Upamecano? United want COVID to be a reason to not buy players. United want COVID-19 to be a sympathy vote for you lot. That's what they want. But the reality is, other clubs are spending money. Inter Milan are spending money. Chelsea are spending money. Manchester City are spending money. They've all got rich owners. Well, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Am I, as a Manchester United fan, now meant to sit here and go, well, I totally understand why we're not buying players now because of COVID. It's hit the club really hard. I tell you what's hit the club harder than any worldwide pandemic. Glazers. Manchester United weren't in debt. They put us in debt 15 years ago and they've kept us in debt. The reason we don't spend much money is because we're in debt, because we're run by people who want to take money out of the club. So hiding behind a worldwide pandemic that's killed a lot of people and is causing chaos is actually cowardly. The reality is, COVID will cost lots of football clubs a lot of money, but we don't have a lot of money because we were bought on debt by these owners. They have got no right to hide behind COVID-19 when they have got us in hundreds of millions of pounds of debt. I totally respect the fact and understand the fact that COVID-19 is going to cause football a lot of problems, but it wouldn't be causing us as many problems if we weren't in hundreds of millions of pounds of debt. Why are we in hundreds of millions of pounds of debt? Because of them. And of course you can carry debt. Any good business person will tell you can carry debt. Most people own a house and carry debt, mortgage repayments, so you can carry debt. You can also speculate to accumulate. You can also build a deal, build loans so that you pay them back next year when more money's coming in. Don't fall for this United haven't got any money. It's always about United not wanting to spend money. Morning Mark, Ollie clearly doesn't trust the players on the bench that showed during the Europa semi. Some of our first team are not good enough, let alone our bench. We need quality, not quantity, but that means spending big. And Jordan, this has been the story for a long time. The board is a shambles, says George B. And Juventus won Serie A, Barcelona finished second and both sacked their manager and got a director of football. United finished 30 points behind Liverpool and are not even batting an eyelid. We no longer operate like a big club, says Julian. We don't operate like a big club. And fans, and I included, are just, we're looking at that third place. We're looking at next season. And what we're basically saying is it's progress, but it has to continue. Is it going to continue next season? Premier League fixtures are out. We've got Spurs at home, third game. We've got Chelsea at home, fifth game. We've got Arsenal, sixth game away. And we've got Everton, seventh game away. We've got a tough start to the season. We go into this season with that team that played against Sevilla. We're going to drop points. We're going to drop points. That team ain't good enough. We've got to get some players in now. Otherwise, progress is going to halt. And we are going to... As I've said, people always say to me, are you Ollie in or are you Ollie out? I'll tell you what I am. I'm Manchester United stopping Liverpool winning more titles. Liverpool won a title. They're the favourites to win the title again. We're meant to be stopping them. If we go into next season and we haven't given Ollie the players that he needs and he starts to fail again and then they sack him at Christmas... That's another season where a rival's going to win the league. And it could be Liverpool again. And it could be 20 times. And then next season, we bring a new manager in. He's not expected to win it for a couple of years. So that's another 2 years where Liverpool could win the league. The time is now. The time is now. Liverpool have won a league. And they're favourites to win a league again. And maybe again. They could win 3 or 4 leagues in the next 5 years. If we sack another manager because these prats in charge don't back him... We're putting ourselves back and back and back and back. We're never going to stop. This is the time now. We've got to progress now. We've got to make this team that finished third better now. Big decisions need to be made. We're not running ourselves like a football club. And you know what really annoys me is that I'm annoyed this morning is because I can see what's going on again. I don't want to read headlines about the Glazers sticking their nose in on transfers. I don't want to hear that. We're meant to be... I'm fed up of being a business and not a football club. Manchester United has been a football club for decades. Well, for longer than that. But you know what I mean? We're a fucking football club. What are we doing? Why are we being run by these people who are just bankers? Whether it's Woodward, Judge, the Glazers, whatever. Where are the football people in that bloody football club? Bayern Munich... are a football club run with football people in it. They've got people in high positions in that club who used to play for Bayern Munich Football Club. You know, whatever you say about the class of 92 or people like that, I would love to see a Roy Keane or a Gary Neville or someone like that high up in that football club, involved in the way the football clubs run. It's not good enough what's happening, and it's causing the same... It's boring. It's Groundhog Day. Every year we're talking about the same bloody thing at the same time of the year. The Glazers, hashtag Glazers out. But what's changing at the bloody football club? You know, arguing over spending money on Jadon Sancho is actually depressing. I think we'll get the Jadon Sancho deal done, but it's depressing because it's almost like they'll grind you down so that when the deal's done, you'll go, oh, just thank God we've got him. The reality is it should be Sancho and 2 others. That's what this summer should be about. Not, oh, let's take all the joy and let's grind it out and stand firm, and in the end we get there, but we won't do anything else. Jadon Sancho on his own ain't going to make a massive amount of difference, as we all know. Are you excited for games against Leeds? Also need some signings before starting the new season. Otherwise, it's the same downward spiral again, says Ahmed Abanaf. Welcome to Knight Pentrios, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Just to confirm, it's fake progress, is the Albert Show, and that's the danger. It could well end up being fake progress. Let me just confirm to you the opening, some of the interesting games of the season for you. I'll go through them more, actually, because you can get them on the unitedstand.com website, which I'm just going to click here now. So, full fixture list for Manchester United is out. We've got Crystal Palace on the 19th. Then we've got Brighton away, Spurs at home, Newcastle away, Chelsea at home, Arsenal at home, Everton away. Then we play West Brom, Southampton, West Ham. Man City we're going to play on the 12th of December. We're then going to play... when do we play Liverpool? I'm trying to figure out when we're playing Liverpool. We don't play Liverpool till January. Which is quite late. We don't play Liverpool till January. I mean, it's a late start to the season, so you've got to take that into account. Liverpool we play in January. Christmas fixtures, people are always interested in those. Away to Leicester on Boxing Day. We're normally at home on Boxing Day, which is a bit of a shame. Got Leeds on the 19th. Got some good fixtures in December, actually. But, yeah, opening game is going to be Crystal Palace. It would have been Burnley, but obviously that's been put off because of... us getting to the Europa League semi-final. So 16th of January we play Liverpool at home. We need a really good start, says Sashin. Please smash the like on the video and subscribe if you're new, by the way. We got 800,000 yesterday, which is absolutely fantastic. A couple of other stories to bring you then. Gabriel, as I said, left-sided centre-back is going to go to Arsenal. That was disgusting. Arsenal. And ESPN yesterday did say that United are still confident that they'll get Jadon Sancho. So I am. Not because of ESPN. I'm confident that will happen as well. Manchester Evening News, there was a story yesterday that United have rekindled their interest in Alexandro at Juventus, who's a left-back that I really wanted us to sign about 3 or 4 years ago. There's the clue. This would be a deal that United won't do because I think Juventus wants about 40 million euros. We're not going to spend £35 million on a left back when we've got Luke Shaw. We're not. We do need another left back who's left footed, but we're not going to buy Alexandro for 35 million. I don't know where that story's coming from. It won't happen. It won't happen. I think at the moment, I mean, Ahmed says we need Pau Torres. We need a left footed centre back desperately. We need a centre attacking midfield desperately, and we need Jadon Sancho, and that to me would be a good summer. But all 3 of those players should be players that go in the first team. Doesn't necessarily mean they get picked, but they should be first team quality. None of this David Brooks crap. I'd rather buy Garth Brooks. At least he sings good stuff. Let's be patient. Still think it'll happen. Remember a few weeks ago, Mark said Sancho will cost 80 million. We all expected COVID discount. United are adjusting, says Cobb Ross Akins. And is there anyone from Barcelona you'd take? Because they're having a clear out, says Kyle A. I don't really like clear outs. It's the same as buying clubs from relegation teams, isn't it? You know, everyone wants to sell you players that they don't want for various reasons. The only Barcelona players I'd want are players that they're not going to clear out. I don't want their players that, if a player's surplus to requirements at Barcelona, that's got to be a red flag because Barcelona aren't even one of the top 5 clubs in Europe at the moment. Any more news on Alex Tellez, says George B. No, it's all gone very quiet on him, to be honest with you. And hi Mark, love the channel. Can I please get a shout out, says Rovan. There you go. Hi Mark, just joined. What's happened, mate? Says Joe Mills Hug. So, story from The Athletic that Joel Glazer stuck his nose into the Jadon Sancho deal and he's actively involved in it and he's not happy about paying the fees that people want. Director of Football, Joel Glazer. It's your worst nightmare, isn't it? Also, they're saying that United are looking at David Brooks as an alternative to Grealish, which, again, is ridiculous because he's nowhere near as good as Grealish. Premier League fixtures are out. We don't play on the opening day, so the game against Burnley's postponed. Our first game will be the following weekend against Crystal Palace at home. We play Crystal Palace at home, Brighton away, Spurs at home, Newcastle away, Chelsea at home, Arsenal at home, Everton away. The good thing is we're playing Chelsea, Arsenal and Spurs at home. The bad thing is there probably won't be any fans there, so we won't get home advantage. So realistically, you almost want to be playing more games away from home because when we play Arsenal, Chelsea and Spurs later in the season, we're probably going to play at their ground when they've got fans, but we'll see what happens with fans in the ground. So yeah, I'm very happy with the opening fixture. Crystal Palace, you want to be at home against the side you can win to get a bit of momentum, but we have got some tough games in them first 7 games, so we need to bring players in. Mark, what do you feel about Maxence of Lyon? He looks like a good midfielder, played well in Champions League and is just 20 years. What do you feel? Shannon, the only player I would take from Lyon is Ayo. I mean, look, they've got good players, Lyon, but what about Sabitzer at Leipzig? You know, they've got good players as well. We need quality. Ayo is the one I would take, and I guarantee he'll end up at Man City for 40 million, and we'll probably spend 40 million on David Brooks, and this is the problem. British passport, let's overpay. Good foreign player that's, you know, better than anything in England. Nah, we're not interested in that. He's not got a British passport. I mean, that's in a nutshell, me. I don't think we are going to sign David Brooks, by the way, but if we did, we'd probably spend 40 million on David Brooks and City would get Ayor from Lyon for 40 million. That's the sort of scouting stupidity we have at United. You know, we'll probably go and spend 35 million on Josh King from Bournemouth and Arsenal will get Moussa Dembele from Lyon for 40 million. You know, equivalent value, but miles apart in talent because we're Brexit FC focused. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. It's wound me up this morning, this Joel Glazer thing. I'm fed up of not having a director of football. I'm fed up of being incompetent in the transfer window. And I'm fed up of being a business and not a football club. All we're bothered about is bloody money all the time. We're meant to, you know, the focus should be that football team needs 4 or 5 players, but desperately 3 players in the first team now. And we're negotiating on a deal that could have been done weeks ago because we don't want to spend money. Boring same old story because we're not run like a football club. We're owned by people who just want to suck money out of the club and be successful on the cheap, and that's the bottom line. Thanks for watching. Smash a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. If you want to get on the Discord as well, the link's in the video description. We've got our Fantasy Premier League in there. The chat will continue. You can talk about the fixtures. Click the link in the video description for the Discord invite. That's the only way you'll get in there and continue the conversation. I'll speak to you all in a bit.